Welcome back to Franchise Wars, reaction, recap, and review of Young Justice Outsiders on the DC Universe streaming app. This week, Home Fires. Now, this one's kind of another one of those weird hybrid episodes where we technically got two stories going on at the same time. The first one that we're kind of going to focus on is basically Justice League Daycare. You see, it turns out that actually all the cute little itty-bitties actually all hang out together and, are a family, which is kind of heartwarming. Also, someone's threatening them, which is not. No. Welcome back to Franchise Wars, reaction, recap, and review of Young Justice Outsiders. This week, Home Fires. Now, this is another one of those weird kind of two-part hybrid episodes. The first plot we have deals with what amounts to Justice League Daycare, and we get to see what life is like in the Flash household with two twins and a time-traveling grandson. Tornado twins.
Keep up with the tornado toddlers.
Thanks, Bart.
Aww.
I really appreciate the help. Today, especially.
No, Dad. Come on, Dad. Stay whelmed.
Don't call him Dad.
Oh, yeah, right. Spoilers. Sorry, Grandma.
And don't call me Grandma.
Yeah, we end up seeing basically every single little kid in the entire show up here. So little Damian Wayne from that one episode actually has a fully, developed generation of heroes he can grow up with as well, which is kind of funny and makes me want a Rugrats Young Justice edition, because that would be fantastic. Now, it's not all sunshines and rainbows in this plot, because someone is watching. Uh-oh. Yeah, so that's not good. Now, the second plot is going to deal with the Outsiders training, and we'll get to that in a little bit here. But before that, just to kind of let you know about the third tertiary plot that's kind of on the down low. For one thing, we've got the Justice League starting up a metahuman, youth center to try and kind of help those kids out after they've been kidnapped. We see Mist and Livewire, for instance, going there. We've also got G. Gordon Godfrey interviewing someone who's got a very, very creepy history in the comics. Granny Goodness. Yeah, we're midway through G. Gordon clearly trying to set up even his own fellow new god for some reason, and also ranting about metahumans, when Megan interrupts Connor and tells him that it's time to go take the kids out and train them. So they get there, and we get some fun stuff there as well. To clarify here, fun stuff means that Nightwing is apparently a big fan of that 80s movie with Clint Eastwood called Heartbreak Ridge, because he just opens up firing at the kids with, rubber bullets, but still, he's just right at them to see how they react. Geoforce complains because even though everybody else kind of reacted on time and correctly, he did not. He says, hey, surprise attacks don't count. Surprise attacks wouldn't happen. And then Dick responds with this.
In your case, it proves you need to train for surprise attacks.
Okay, yeah. That is very pertinent to their current situation.
Translating Interlac. The main man's contracted to kill this bug. The rest of you can go. Not gonna happen.
Oh, did I fail to mention that the stinger of this episode had the Light hiring Lobo? My bad. Yeah, he's the conflict antagonist for this episode. And there's some pretty good fight scene stuff that we'll get a little bit of in the rest of this video, but that you should totally track down the episode itself and watch. Now, we cut back to the kids' house, where again, we see a bunch of the kids getting together. For instance, Red Tornado shows up and entertains the little kids with his own tornadoes. We get the Tornado twins chasing tornadoes, because why not? We get Roy Harper being teased by somebody else about the fact that he is living in a house as basically a single guy, single father, with his sister-in-law, and, they're both single, which is not something I really want to think about, because I really don't want to think about Cheshire and Artemis fighting over, whatever his name is now, Red Arrow. But then we cut back to the guy who's looking again, and it's still creepy. Oh, Ocean Master.
I am impressed. Look at all you've accomplished. You discovered where the
parents and children came together for their playdate. You leased the house across the street, set up wiretaps, cameras, microphones, infrared. You've truly mastered the surface world. These are useful skills, worthy of the shadows, not to be wasted.
I am glad you approve, Lady Shiva. Now watch as I step outside and with one blast from Neptune's trident, deal a blow from which the so-called heroes will never recover.
Yes, you could do that. It has been contemplated. As you know, it's what the light refers to as their
Nuclear option.
But the thing about going nuclear is that one must be prepared for mutually assured destruction. So the light has vowed never to use this option lightly.
Please. I am Orm, the Ocean Master, a prince of Atlantis. Prince, I should be king. Instead, I spent 6 years inside an Atlantean prison. 6 years. I will not be denied my revenge.
That's what the light assumed. That's why I'm here.
Oh!
Dad, slow down. Don't call him Dad.
Everyone, meet Orphan's mom, the Lady Shiva. Yeah, so that's how we meet the Light's new enforcer, Lady Shiva. And, again, I really love the way this show just incorporates just about every single character they can. And she does make a good successor to Sportsmaster, who honestly the show, upgraded. Deathstroke, who needed really no introduction. And now we've got her as their enforcer, which is still really, really scary because she is really, really terrifying when she wants to be. Also, I like how the scene again kind of signifies that the Light is still probably the biggest difference between this show and the regular comics. Because in the comics, all these mega villains can't get past their grudges. Here, the show is making it clear once again that what makes the Light dangerous is that they can overcome all their grudges and just focus on their plan. Because their plan includes the Justice League as at least a useful asset when need be. And that's why they don't immediately, kill all the kids. Because this was, Lex Luthor from the comics, he'd be tempted to kill them. And I mean, probably same thing with Vandal Savage. But here it's no, we leave him be. That way we can keep it as a secret for later on. Which is interesting. Anyways, back to the team taking on Lobo. It's not going well.
Gonna frag that cheesy femme till she's dust. Gotcha!
I don't think he's dead. And the return. Yeah, there we go.
Lobo gone?
You're alive!
You're pink! Forager shed his exoshell to fool Lobo. But Forager thinks Forager now understands what friends meant by not liking to be naked. Oh, sorry, I can't. You're too Gucci.
I don't care how Gucci you are. But you are indeed.
Welcome to the Fake Your Own Death Club. Its membership is very exclusive, and I'm the president.
Forager thanks Artemis Croc. Forager thanks all his friends for risking limb and life to save.
That kind of makes sense because, let's face it, Lobo is supposed to be a Superman-level bad guy. A guy who regularly trades fists with, Big Blue Boy Scout himself. So that works. That works. There's no problem with that. But at the same time, it is also funny to have, the young hero team kind of seem to have a tradition now. Young guy loses shirt. I mean, let's face it seems to be happening like clockwork in these episodes. Kind of like Halo dying, because she did that again in this episode, and whoa, came back again. Now, it turns out that actually, because the Light hired Lobo, they weren't actually trying to have him kill Forager. No, this is just their idea of a recon mission, because that's how they roll. Why do something subtle when you can instead do something very loud to conceal something subtle? And we get to see some of the new members of the Light, including Ultra Humanites and these people.
7 champions, an elegant number, and we've learned to our regret that young heroes like these can cause the 7 of us no end of trouble.
No worries, my friends. A plan is in place. We'll deal with these naughty children in our own good time.
Oh, man. Granny Goodness is still creepy. She's not getting Ed Asner's voice, but she's still creepy. Okay, that's funny. So yeah, Deathstroke has fully replaced Ra's al Ghul as a member of the Light, though apparently Ra's is still actually on speaking terms with the rest of the Light. He's not been kicked out like Ocean Master was, and then, permanently taken care of. And the last member is Granny Goodness. So we have the Light now officially a total, conglomeration of Earthbound heroes and one new god, Villainous. And this is Granny Goodness, so that's terrifying. Now, I'm kind of curious about how exactly this works out, because I presume the Light is supposed to be Savage's own, inner council for the eventual war with Darkseid as well. So is Granny Goodness, technically playing both sides, or are they allowing her in as kind of a sign of their alliance with Apocalypse? I think it may be that one. But I wouldn't mind seeing, say, Granny Goodness actually try and do something different, get her fleshed out a little bit, but who knows. I'm sure she'll do something horrible to children in another episode. If you'd enjoyed this episode, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. See you later.